Alright guys, so today we're going to replace one of the few things left on this car that is stock. That is the suspension. What still needs to get done is obviously the suspension, the transmission, the drive shaft, and I still need to figure out a fueling situation. The 525 pump that I put in there is just not going to be able to keep up even if this stays at 10 pounds of boost. But today we are going to check off the suspension part of this, and then I have a good idea of what I'm going to be doing for the transmission and the drive shaft. Just have to line that up, and I'm hoping that everything is really in place. So, you know, for the winter where, you know, drag racing here in Florida is a little bit better because you'll just have a little bit of a cooler weather and you'll get some better time. So I'm really aiming for that. The reason why it's been taking so long is because I actually moved to Florida and I wanted to close on a house before I committed to doing more upgrades and spending more money on the charger. Believe me, my heart is with this thing. I always want to keep upgrading it, but at the same time I have a beautiful wife, 2 kids, and I just need to make sure that we're all good before I invest more money into this thing. So with that being said, guys, let's go get the suspension done. So what is this? This is the front?
That's the front.
Yeah, this is the front.
Okay.
And then your independent rear. So these are going to be your
shot separate.
Yep.
And this is like fully adjustable,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
okay.
fully adjustable. Dampening and everything.
So what we're gonna do is stay with the same stock height and then just stiffen it up, right? So nice.
Feel it. It'll stop.
Okay.
So that's hard. And you can actually feel this if you want. So you can feel that motion, like click it, so you can notice. See how you can feel the notches?
Oh yeah.
So basically it's got 32-way valves. So basically all that is, if you compare it to like a salt shaker, you put it on the little holes, you get a little bit of salt, which is your strut has like a washer in here, and whenever your strut impacts into the shock, basically the fluid is flowing through those holes. Well, the harder it is, the smaller those holes are. No salt. You put it all the way soft, it's like dumping the salt out. So normally when we install coilovers in these cars, they're a 12K and a 10K. Most I've seen is like a 14 on the front is the weight. So these are 18. And all that means is basically how much it takes to compress this spring per inch. So like a 30K, for instance, is 2,400 inch-pounds. So it takes 2,400 pounds to move that spring 1 inch. You're a little softer than that, because at 30K it gets kind of like almost too stiff. So this is going to still keep it comfortable, but it's going to keep it where the car doesn't move like you did on your factory suspension.
Gotcha.
So it's going to take load better.
So it's kind of like a nice compromise between the two of them.
Yeah, because you can go super stiff. Like my Mercedes, I'm on 60Ks in the front, but like my clearance from my tire to my wheel well is like a little bit toothpick.
You can't have that tire traveling at all.
And that's the point of the 60K. So that's 3,400 inch-pounds. So literally take an elephant to sit on my fender to move it 1 inch.
Okay.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But then you have the adaptability of this. So like I said, it's 32-way valve, and all this is doing is basically, the harder it is, the less fluid transfers when the shock goes down. So the softer it is, the more fluid transfers. So then that also gives you extra spring rate. So if you go super soft, you're just relying all the way, like I said, 32. You're just relying now on the shock and the spring. So that's all the way soft. You're basically, the valve's all the way open. As you're protruding the shock into the valve body, the fluid's rushing to the top, no sweat. Well, you can adjust this. Like I said, it's 32-way. We can put it in all the way firm. You drive it, it's awful, you don't like it. You go over here and you're gonna go back 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Do the same thing to the other corner. Drive it again. Oh, okay, that feels better. You may not notice the difference. You know, that's just there for your adaptability.
Gotcha.
Me personally, since my spring rate is so stiff on the Mercedes, I only run about 10. If I didn't have that stiff of a spring rate, I would probably run it maxed. So that's where you can kind of fine tune a little bit of comfortability. Because you're trying to not rub, I would start it all the way firm.
And then dial it back.
And then you can open your hood and you're gonna go, we're all the way firm. Me personally, let's go back to firm. You're gonna wanna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 back. You go to the other corner, you go drive the car again for a day. All right, I noticed that pothole wasn't so severe. Leave it. Oh, I'm gonna tune it down a little bit. You go down another 5, drive it again. Oh, I liked it back before. That's it.
Okay.
So that's gonna make it pretty simple for you to like fine tune how it feels. But this will change the firmness. From 32 to 28, probably not a lot. But between...
And it's that easy to adjust it from,
just
I
the
pop my hood and...
So like when you see this, it's literally gonna be right here.
Oh, nice.
So like when this car goes into your car, that bolts through just like this.
Okay.
And that's gonna be how easy it is for the front. The rear, we can, you know, it's gonna be a little more difficult to get to, but it's on the shock itself too. But that's gonna be in the trunk. So that one you have to like pull your...
You go out and you buy this and you have the capability of adjusting it yourself if need be.
Yeah, and then also you can adjust the height. So I mean, that's something, you know, okay. So actually on the rear, since you're an independent suspension, your dampener's here. So you just have to remove your wheel.
Gotcha.
Or, you know, if you can reach in there somehow, you know, if you got enough room, jack it up and your tire drops enough, you can reach in there and grab it. It's not as easy as the front, but normally the front is what you're gonna be more worried about.
Yep.
Most of the time. But this one, you know, here's the same thing for the dampening. Soft is all the way like loose.
Okay.
And then hard is just like tighty. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Same thing for the dampening knobs. So like I said, the easiest way to explain it to the regular person, salt shaker. You got the huge side, you're flowing, it's gonna pour out a lot, but which is actually softer because your fluid is just transferring more. And then you got the one little 3 holes on the salt shaker, or like a salt, and that's what this does. You're just changing the flow of the fluid, which is making this harder to compress. And that's all it's doing. So that's all the way soft. And if you were to turn this all the way firm, because you're an independent suspension here, the shock is a little easier to compress. So now we're all the way firm. And that, you can actually feel that difference.
Okay.
And if you wanted to do that yourself. But I mean, real drag cars, any car, NASCAR has coilovers. They have adjustable suspension. Ferraris from factory have coilovers. That's pretty common because the adjustability is nice. Fluid, because there's fluid in here. So like I said, imagine like a little disc up here that you're basically either opening a hole or closing it, and it's having to push the fluid, and the fluid is having to run through it.
Does that fluid ever need to get maintained or anything like that? Okay.
No. Basically, all our suspension comes with a 1-year manufacturer warranty. But if you ever have a problem, we do 2 years for just from us.
Gotcha.
So like I can replace just this strut. So all of this is replaceable. I can buy this piece, I can buy this piece, I can buy this piece, I can buy this piece.
Gotcha.
So if you ever have a shock that blows, I can replace just the shock. We'll take the whole assembly apart and replace just the shock. So I don't have to give it 2-year warranty because my manufacturer doesn't, but I believe in our stuff.
Do you allow guys to order this and then get it installed somewhere else?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, then the 1-year warranty is there, not the 2-year. If we install it, 2 years there, because then obviously I know we did it right. I know we adjusted it. I didn't, you know, you didn't do it in your
that makes
driveway.
sense. I get
We
you.
have so many customers that, you know, it's not super hard if you have some tools on most cars, but then they install it and they pre-run. The rear is kind of tricky. You have to preload because you're independent suspension.
All right, so this is the final result. I know a lot of people out there are gonna say you should have lowered it. I get it, but I have 2 turbos underneath the car, and having it sit a little bit higher is something that I really wanted to do. It protects them a little bit. Also too, it gives me a little extra cushion and peace of mind with these fender flares. With how stiff the suspension is, neither of those should have a problem. I should be able to drive this thing, you know, on all kinds of highways and not have any kind of issues. So far, I just drove it a couple hours, not a couple hours, maybe an hour around town, hitting potholes, and no issues whatsoever to really report back. Still needs a wheel alignment. I kind of ran out of time the other day. So we're gonna get this thing a wheel alignment, and I got a much bigger upgrade coming, guys. I really want to thank you for, you know, those that actually support this channel and are interested in this build. A lot of people don't realize that this build does not get the most amount of views on this channel. A lot of people really are here for, you know, kind of the ghoul videos and speculation and news and stuff like that. So, you know, those of you that support this channel for this build, this is really the passion that I have. I love this car. But I have some upgrades coming this year, and we're gonna get this thing really ripping, having fun. And you know, this is just the first step. I'm really getting settled in down here in Florida, finding my footwork, you know, getting getting familiar with the area. But here we go, guys. This is the first modification in a line of many. So